Hello everyone, just writing the topic for today's event. It's our annual AMA for August. Ask me anything, careers and study abroad. All right. How is everyone doing? Let's see who we have here. Chris Nair, hello, how are you? Wild and Free, cool handle. Simi Changani, hi. Soni Bagaria, hello, good to see you here again. P. Amari, Mary, hi. Pranay Reddy, Pagu, Zareen girl, hello. How's everyone doing? Awesome, Chris. Good to see you here. Okay. So as everyone knows, I am here. Hi, Sony. Good to see you. Hi, Rustler. Good to see you. For undergrad, US have internships become more common. All right, cool. I see some questions coming through. I have a list of questions here in front of me on my computer. And I'm going to do my best to answer as many as I can in the next, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes. If anyone has questions that they want to ask, feel free to put them into the chat and I will do my best to answer as many as I can. It's August AMA and we are actually gearing up for round one application deadlines, undergraduate, early action and early decision deadlines. So a lot of action here in the office. With that, let's start with some questions for today. All right, so our first question is from, let's see, Sandeep Mondal from Kolkata, who says, how can I obtain a scholarship for theater studies at Harvard? I'm eager to explore and develop my talents in this field. Any assistance in this matter would be greatly appreciated. Great. All right, Sandeep, that's a good question. And I love that you want to pursue theater. It's so cool. And I'm glad it's, even though it's a bit unconventional, even though it's a bit conventionally risky, I'm glad you're following your heart and doing whatever it is that your heart tells you to do. Theater, very, very competitive, to be honest, in terms of programs. We have helped a bunch of people get into theater, dance, some other performing arts. It is pretty competitive, honestly. That being said, scholarships, of course, they're possible. What you need to do is rack up enough real world experience in acting. Now, this could be something as small or as preliminary as doing something within your school or college. Start there, obviously. If there's a drama club or drama society within your college, then try to go a little bit outside. It could be small scale stuff like doing, a street play, street drama, if that's what you're into. Obviously trying to get into a slightly bigger role at the city level. If you can perform with a troupe, as much real world acting as you can put in would help. It doesn't need to be only theater acting. It could also be acting in, let's say, an ad or acting in an OTT. In a small role, but essentially showing them that you've acted across media and across platforms will also give them some confidence about your commitment towards theater as an area of study. So just make sure you have enough real world experience, and that's really how you would make your profile attractive and compelling for these schools to want to then have you and then offer you that scholarship. So I hope that helps, Sandeep. That was a pretty long answer to your question. All right, let's take these questions here. The Wild and Free. For undergrad US, have internships become more relevant? Okay, Wild and Free. I'm not sure when you say more, what are you comparing it against? Are you comparing it as like year on year compared to last year? Are you comparing 10 years? Are you comparing 20 years? I'm not sure what you're trying to imply, but in a nutshell, yes, you're right. The colleges, honestly, whether they like internships or not, I personally am a big believer in them. I'm a big believer in doing what you believe in and really understanding and navigating your career options through experience as opposed to through hearsay. So by all means, I always encourage people to do internships wild and free, and it really does. Whether it's internships, whether it's short full-time work assignments, whatever it is you want to do, the best way to figure it out is by actually going and working in that environment. Sometimes one experience might give you a sort of biased view, so if you're kind of on the fringe, maybe work once or twice in that industry to really get full clarity. Chris Nair, how should I commence preparing for GMAT? Would you recommend self-study? Chris, I honestly am not such a big fan of self-study, and it's kind of obvious from my profession. I'm a big believer in getting coaches. Get a coach, man. Like you, there are several really good coaches. I'm not a big believer in those large platforms or those large, big group coaching sessions. They might be a good place to start. The platforms might be a good, first cut to do. But on a larger scale, I would say that you should try and get a one-on-one, very personalized coaching, because whoever can work with you, understand your weaknesses, what's working for you, and then really hone in your areas of improvement and help you. So any day I would get a coach. I have coaches myself. I have a coach for my music practice. I have a coach for table tennis, which is my hobby. I have so many coaches in my life. So I'm like, you're asking a question to someone who might have a very, very lopsided opinion, but just get a coach. Yeah. So Chris, it's a long answer to a short and simple question. All right, let's do this. From Zareen Girl, how important is it to do a full IB diploma versus take some weighted courses? The child is a national level athlete and getting good grades in school, 6s or 7s. Okay, Zareen, if the child is a national level athlete, are we looking at trying to get this child recruited on the sports teams of the universities? Like, are we talking about that level? I'm assuming as a national level athlete, that might be yes. And if so, the universities are still going to require the equivalent of a 12th grade diploma. So when you're saying some weighted courses, what exactly would that mean? Like, as long as the kid ends up with a high school degree, then we should be okay. So if you have something specific in mind, I would suggest email the universities, let them know what you're thinking of. Be very clear and precise, but athlete or no athlete, this is a standard requirement. They're going to need the equivalent of a US high school degree. So as long as those weighted courses collectively put together add up and do that, then that's great. Honestly, if you're trying to go from a recruitment perspective to one of these schools as an athlete, then the grades are not that important. But once you're there, honestly, a lot of people go in as recruited sports people and then they end up not wanting to pursue sport for the next 5-7 years, in which case the academic quotient really does kick in, right, Zareen? So just make sure that if that might be an option for the kid, then keep the grades going well, and also just check on some weighted courses. To me sounds a little honestly fluid, so let's make sure what we're suggesting is the right suggestion. Okay, all right, Zareen, thank you for your question. Hello, Bhushan, how are you? Learner for Life, hi. Official Vishal. Rimzi, hi. MJ Visions, hello. Krizan, how are you? Chris Nair, what quant courses would you recommend to improve your quantitative ability? Chris, as I said, just get a coach. The coaches have so much material, they run you through so much content. More importantly, they run you through course content that's at your level, right? Not below, not higher. And then if it's lower, they sort of work you and rather help work you towards the destination you need to be at. There's a lot of online courses available. As I said, you can start with those, some of the freer, more cheaper ones. And then eventually I would suggest definitely migrate to a proper coach. Okay, wild and free, yeah, year on year. I already answered your question. Wild and free, do internships count as much as summer programs? Honestly, wild and free, if I have a choice, I would any day go for an internship over a summer program. Especially if my kid is already studying in, a good school, and the good doesn't necessarily mean IB. A good school, I mean like a school that has, a good set of academics, good set of teachers, and is okay, doing okay on that spectrum. If I had to pick one, I would pick an internship any day. I am Rahul. Hi. Himmat Shekhawat, hello. Lokesh, hi. Chris, thank you, my pleasure. His sport is not NCAA. Okay, so you're not looking at college recruitment, right? In that case, of course, then the grades are going to 100% matter. Though being a national level athlete in itself, even if we are not looking at recruitment, is already a big deal. The IB certificate, Zareen, as I said before, it's a little tricky. I would email the schools individually and see who is open to accepting what. Sometimes each school toes its own line. So maybe email like 5 schools and see what they respond. And then at least you'll have it in writing for your specific case. And that will definitely help. Chris Nair, what is your opinion on online MSc marketing degrees and MBAs? Look, Chris, honestly, I'm not big on online MSc and Masters. I'm okay if they do an online course, online short course, online course with a live tutor, online short course free on Coursera or something, just as a dipstick, quick upskill, nothing so serious, kind of, honestly, and for people who don't have affordability issues, for them, maybe, you do something online, but not in terms of like a full-blown career move. I don't recommend the online program, just because the whole point of doing these programs, well, I wouldn't say the whole point, but at least 80% of the point of doing these programs, it's not just sitting in front of your screens and accumulating some knowledge or wisdom, right? It's really just going through the experience, interacting with people abroad, going through that whole, studying abroad in a different location experience. That's what really ends up becoming really spectacular. So no, I'm not big on online full-fledged degrees as yet. Let's see if something amazing comes out with all this chitter chatter about AI and GPT and all this stuff, but nah, not for me. Niveda Giri, hello. Pagu22, do employers ask for GMAT scores during interviews? That's a very good question. So funnily enough, Pagu, and they do actually ask for GMAT scores. They have the right to ask for GMAT scores, and every university has the right to provide these scores or not. Especially rampant in the consulting firms, right? The McKinsey, Bain, BCG, MBB space. They like to ask for GMAT scores. It gives them an indicator of your analytical skill set. But a lot of universities might choose to not disclose this information. A lot of students might not want to include this information. So you can choose to say yes or no, and then depending on the firm, they'll choose to have you there or not. But yeah, I have seen this as industry practice. They do end up asking. Yeah, Zareen, okay, got that. Purvi Bhayani, hi. Akash Gotmari. Guys, as I said, I'm running my August Ask Me Anything. If you have a question related to careers, study abroad, study in India to some level, I'll be happy to answer. Hi, Ruchi Agarwal, Alpana Vikas. Okay, Akash Gotmari. Do US universities like Harvard, Wharton have executive MBAs like the IIMs? Yes, of course. They all have executive programs. They might not necessarily be called an executive MBA in that sense. Wharton definitely has an executive MBA in the conventional sense. Harvard has many executive courses, simple short courses, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days. More courses for executives, like their CELP program, like their OPM program. I mean, they have a ton of programs. You really need to see what is the right fit for you. But yes, Akash, lots of options. Ideal for people with, I would say, 10 to 20 years of experience. That would be a good segment. Hello, Varsha. Invicto, hello. All right, Shifali, how are you? Kushi, hi. Okay, Invicto. Can you get into the Ivies if you have a bachelor's from public state universities in India? Of course, Invicto. You can get into the Ivy League colleges as long as you have a legitimate 4-year undergrad degree. Yeah, they just say it should be the equivalent of a US bachelor's program. Now, if it's some extremely unknown, brand new, state sponsored college, the universities abroad might be a bit skeptical, saying, we don't know about this university, when did this come up? But by and large, if we are talking public state colleges and in and around, like to be fair, like the IITs are all state sponsored colleges, right? Of course, National Institute of Technology, a lot of these are all state sponsored colleges. And as you know, tons of people from the IITs and NITs, Vellore Institute of Technology is also state. So a lot of these state-sponsored colleges are large feeder schools into US and UK and global universities. So the answer is yes, you can. Hello, Sanket Vardekar, Shaheen Ek, hello. Rimzi Samson. Is MSc Master student eligible for deferred MBA program? MSc Masters, yes, you should be eligible for the deferred MBA at Yale. I think you have to you just need to be in your final year of study. So if you're doing the MSc Masters, as long as you're in college right now, currently pursuing your degree, then you are absolutely eligible. And Rimzi, I'm not sure where you are located, but we are based in Bombay at Nariman Point, and we in fact have the Yale admissions director coming by the office, and she will be talking about the deferred MBA program. We'll try to stream these events live as well for those of you who cannot fly into the Bombay office. But if you can, then definitely do try to make it. These events are free. It's just an open house and just an information sharing session. So feel free to drop by and stay tuned to ReachIvy Instagram handle, my Instagram handle, Vibha Kagzi, so that you can get updates. On that note, we actually have a whole bunch of university events. We're talking to Canadian schools, Rotman and Schulich this week. We'll be in conversation with Duke University day after, in fact, on the 18th. And then we have Yale, Columbia coming into the office. We have an event with UT Austin and Georgetown. So there's a whole bunch of events coming across in August and September, and we'll continue the series. So please feel free to stay in touch and attend the events. All right, moving on with the AMA. Hello, Adhiraj, Javi, Suresh, hi. Zareen, 10th graders don't have much clarity on what they want to study in college yet. How should they choose their subjects? Okay, this is a really good question, Zareen girl, thank you. Which is why this is sort of interlaced with what was being discussed about internships about 5 minutes ago, saying, look, I'm a big fan of internships. It gives you sense of, do you really see yourself working in this field? Because, a lot of people mistake doing well in a subject in school with a potential career. So you might say, hey, I'm really good at English. I love English and I'm really good at my argumentative essays. And then you think, I want to study law. And then you go work just an internship for 2 months at a law firm. And a lot of kids come back saying, oh my God, I couldn't deal with these sort of working hours. I didn't like the culture. Everyone was screaming at each other. I don't know. I've heard all sorts of stories. So a good idea is to intern. And let's say you hone in on law or whatever field of study. Then you backtrack and figure out your subjects that most comfortably align with an intended future course of study. All right, Zareen, thank you for that question. Reddy, hello. Kitchen Shetty, hi, that's interesting. Mridul Jain, Refrigerated, hello Refrigerated. How cool is your handle? All right, Chris Nair, thank you for answering my questions. If we need to do short courses from Coursera, we could still add them to the education section. Yes, you can add them. Of course, you can add them. Yes, Chris. Anytime, Akash. Chandan Nishar, hi. Priya Bhatia, hello. Chris Nair, how important are 10th and 12th board scores while applying for masters? They're irrelevant, Chris. If you're applying for your masters, then only college, which is post high school, High school in the West is up to 12th grade, so they're not interested. Invicto, hi. Adya Dikshit, hello. Adya, you're off to university. Adya, I would love to have you on the show once and you can talk about and share your experiences. It would be great. Prem Garodia, hi. Mihir Onik. I've read that there is a difference between round 1 and round 2 MBA admissions. Is this true? Yes and no. So there is a common belief, and to be fair, the schools also talk about like, hey, if you're really convinced you want to apply to our program, and more importantly, if you feel like your profile is 100% ready, then you must apply to round 1. That being said, round 2 is also a large round and a lot of people apply and a lot of people get in. So in my eyes, honestly, there's no preference per se between round 1 and round 2. At the same time, if you think you're ready and most of your application material is in order, nothing significant is happening in your life between November and December, then why not apply to round 1? You'll get a bunch of colleges in, you'll get some results out. Based on your results, you can revamp your strategy for round 2. If you just get into the school you want, then you're probably done. If you're done with whatever you get into and you're like, hey, I got into XYZ, let me also shoot for one more college slightly above this level, then you can use it for that. So sure, if you have an option, apply for round 1. That being said, if you feel your profile is not ready or you want to give the GMAT one more shot, then I would say apply in round 2. It's as simple as that. Thanks, Mihir, for that question. Zareen, you're most welcome. Hi, Anurag Tales. Chris Tyre, is NYU still at par with the Ivy League schools? I mean, honestly, the Ivy League schools, what are they? Just a bunch of colleges that played football with one another, became the Ivies. MIT is not an Ivy, Stanford's not an Ivy, NYU's on Ivy. Does it fit the bill for you? Does it do what you're looking for in terms of your college experience? Do you want to live in New York City? Do you want to work with finance professors who are top of their game? Do you want some real world experience while you're working in New York City while doing your MBA? If it checks off some of the boxes that you were particularly looking for, then doesn't matter if it checks off the Ivy League box or not, Chris. All right, Rohit, hi. Garg Sparsh, hello. Okay. Now let me go back to my sheet and I'll take 1 or 2 more questions. Okay. Isha Pingley from Hyderabad. As a US citizen studying computer science in India with 5 semesters left. Okay, you still have 5 semesters, Isha. What steps can I take to change my career path and improve my prospects once I return to the US? Isha, you still have 5 semesters. You've got plenty of time. Please do your best. Honestly, the grades do matter. Do your best, change your grades around. Do some interesting internships. Why don't you talk to one of our experts here at ReachIvy and we can plan a full career/higher education trajectory for you and help take it forward from that direction. Balkrishna M from Hyderabad also. What are the qualifications required to get admission for public administration? Balkrishna, most master's programs will require a generic set of things, which will include your college transcripts. It will include any research papers or publications, academic work done, internships, other project work. And GRE scores, of course. It's a pretty generic checklist in that sense. How do you make your application stand out? Honestly, if you end up working with one of our experts, we'd be able to talk you through exactly how to make your profile really stand out. Okay. Babita Chakraborty, Kolkata. I wish to apply for an online master's course in the field of education or literature. I am a coordinator. I have done my master's in English and B.Ed. Kindly suggest. Of course, Babita, there are plenty of master's programs available in lit, in education, etc. If there are some specific programs you want to apply to, then please send me the link and I'll be happy to ratify it. Of course, Babita, as I was just mentioning a little bit earlier, if you can get out, if your life situation allows you for you to exit, then do please exit so that you can really get a full-blown experience abroad. Hello, Jayu Bansali, Devangi Vashish. Good to see you here. Saddam Khan, hello. Can you get into top 10 with bachelor's in engineering from Pune or Mumbai University? Yes. Why not, Invicto? Why not? The degree, of course, is one component. Honestly, it'll depend on what else you've done with your degree, what else you've done with your time. Is it the best undergraduate program to apply from? Is it the best sort of platform? Probably not, to be honest. Can you do something about it and change your positioning? Absolutely. For that, I can't get into that on this session. Invicto, for that, you'll have to probably do a session with either me or one of our team experts. But yes, we can help you figure it out. Okay. Last question I'm going to take from Ruby Khatun, who says, I want to study an MA in sociology. How should I proceed? Honestly, Ruby, not so complicated. If I were you, I would start by taking my GRE, so get the score out of the way. And then the rest of it obviously would depend on what other extracurriculars, internships, etc. you've done, for which I would have to request you to speak to one of our experts so we can, in detail and in depth, devise a game plan and suggestion list for you so that we can really help you navigate this direction. Okay. All right. Okay, I am going to end the session on this note. Or let's take this. Matthew Pereira. Can my daughter, who has completed 2 years of study in Mechie at the University of Hertfordshire, UK, get admitted into third year NUS? This is a good question. Yes, on a top level, it seems quite feasible. But Mr. Pereira, can I request that you just send NUS a direct email, state your case, send them some transcripts, and just check directly with them, because the schools, once they evaluate your specific case, they'll be able to give you an answer that's very specific to your case. Because on the website and in general sessions, they might say, yes, we're open to it, but once they have your case, your degree, your grades, they'll be able to give you a better response to that question. Okay, all right. On that note, guys, thank you so much for listening in, and I'm going to have to go. Hey, or Arch Kanchi, Hetal, it's Ashish, or thank you all for your questions, and thank you for being so patient and listening. I will be back in September with our September edition. Until then, if you have any questions, email us. We are, as I said, in essay season right now. We have put out a new service called an essay tutorial, where you can see how the essays work. It costs like under 2,000 rupees. Very effective tutorial, which will, for anyone who's applying this year, please most definitely buy the tutorial. It will be of great help, and it will help you really solve any such requirements you might have. Okay, on that note, thank you so much, guys, and I will be back in September. Cheers. Have a good evening.